Oh, it's fine. Okay, it's fine on.
All right. I'm going to remove it.
Go get one live.
Oh, yeah. Let me get this one started. Oh.
All right, people, we are coming in live in. Welcome to the Thursday Night Down and Dirty Tricks live feed. So hopefully the project gets all the way through the end. I sketched this morning, did all the vectors for everything, made it a product, got it up on my Mackay Fine Art store. This file is downloadable. You can do this project right now. You can do it tomorrow. You can follow along whenever you want. It is done. Way too much to do in one day, but I pulled it off right at the last minute. So we got things going. So let's just check in to see who's here. We got Stephen Buckus. What's going on, buddy? Thanks for popping in. We got Calvin. Hi, Calvin. Thanks for coming in last night on the rewatch of the other feed. That was really cool. We're going to do some more of those and some past ones.
You're a bit blurry.
Strokes. What's going on, Mr. Voss, Carl? We're going to also get some people over on Facebook land that are still over there. I'm not sure if Facebook is live yet. But
it is.
So Facebook is live. So Facebook, again, is live on just the B camera. So it's not a very good feed. So please pop over to the link from before and get over to the YouTube side, which is my Down and Dirty Tricks YouTube channel. Scott McKay, Down and Dirty Tricks. You can pop over there. And let's wait for some people to go in. And we will get this shindig started. What else we got here? We got Mr. Voss. We got Chris Garcia. What's going on, man? Carl Becker. Air Todd. How's it going? Everything going good. So, sound. Let's do a quick sound check. Everyone looking good on sound? Everyone good on video? Let me know if there's an issue. We can try to adjust it on the fly. Like I said, Facebook, if you can hear me, go over to the YouTube channel. You can follow that link from, and you can get over to the good feed. Getting a little bit.
Yeah, that could be our Wi-Fi though, because.
Are we still on Wi-Fi or check the computer?
We're not, but your phone is.
Oh, okay. So that's fine. Good. The feed is going good. Black Ice Craft, what's going on, man? Switch from Facebook. Thank you very much. Going good, Michael. Thanks for popping in. Thank you very, very much. Mr. Voss, thank you for putting that link up there on the Facebook side. Get some people over here. We're going to attempt to pull this off. So what I had the idea, I'm a gamer. Some of you guys know that, and I've been back on the game Sea of Thieves. So it got me in that piratey mood, and obviously Pirates of the Caribbean is also a fun thing that I'm really into. So I decided, I know I did a pirate a while back. It was pretty simple. I decided to go all out and do a full pirate painting. The whole background map, the whole everything. So I started this morning from the sketch to the map to the lettering to the vectors to everything there that you see in today. And all that's available on Mackay Fine Art. So please get over there and check that out. Let me get the image up here, show you what we're going to be working on. And you can stop looking at my ugly mug. But first, cheers. Have a great painting session. Let's see if I can pull this off. So, this is the project. This is what we got. Switch over to my above cam. So, what I've done, I plotted this in gold mask. I like gold mask for a lot of things like this, especially because I wanted a very soft look. And a gold mask can deliver that really well. Plus, it's easier to pull off the paint surface. It doesn't grab it. It's probably one of the softest grab out of the vinyl line. Then I did a silhouette cut. So when you download the file, there's a silhouette cut of the pirate skull itself.
Oh, they're skipping now. Why are they skipping? Is it skipping for your?
I don't know if it's skipping on my end. It might be.
Let me check.
And if that's the case, we're going to have to kill the Facebook feed and just go on the YouTube feed.
Mine, it's fine for me.
Okay. Has anyone experienced any skipping or anything in the videos? The feed?
A few people are.
Yeah, so Carl's
recording.
know what? All my Facebook friends, sorry about this, but we're gonna kill that feed because it might be taxing it.
I made a post.
Stuff running.
I made a post for the YouTube stream.
Follow the link to the YouTube channel. The Facebook one's gonna get killed. Sorry about it. Sorry guys, and hopefully this gets it better. So that's what we're gonna kill the live feed on the Facebook Live. I'm running dual at once. Yeah, being YouTube is not as good, so we're gonna kill that.
Yeah, I killed it. There is a post on Facebook though.
So hopefully that helps it. It's a weird blur. Yeah, if it's the blur, then it's the it's probably just getting overtaxed. So we should hopefully get better without it. So
people are saying it's better.
The word is coming out. I'm gonna let it settle for a second.
Yeah, people are saying it's getting better now. Yeah, it's better now.
Okay.
Now that Facebook's killed, lots of people are saying.
I'm gonna give it another minute or so. Oops. So I'm gonna give it another minute or so. Let things clear. Hopefully it's clear. Michael just said it's clear. He said it was blurry. Yeah, trying to run both at once is just not working. You know, if I want to do both at once, I can do one of the services, but I was trying to do both on my computer at once. It's just too taxing on everything. So we're not going to do that.
Yeah, it's all better now.
YouTube's a better place to do it. Oh, and the blur. I know what the blur was.
Yeah, your camera's not focused on you. Focus on the background.
Well, that's fine. I'm going to come over here for a second. This was like half in. It was like that. Okay, so that should be better. Let's see if that does it now. All right, so that should just be me now. Okay, smoother now. Not perfect, good. It should smooth out. Hopefully it smooths out as we get going. Things are going to catch up a little bit. So if not, then hopefully I'll be able to get a better recording of this and we'll go from there. So let's see how we do. All right, guys, this is it. We got the project here. So what I did is I got the silhouette down. For those who want to follow along with this project, you can do it with a plotter. You can also do paper cut. So paper cut and plot, I designed so they line up perfectly. So the blue mask that's down here now is just a silhouette. It's just a silhouette of the design that blocks everything out. Because the way I'm going to work sequentially is I'm going to take the background map first, pull that off, drop shadow where the skull is going to be, and start working my way out of it. If you want to do it all with plotter, this one here is fully cut with all the detail. I know you can't see all the detail with this mask, but this has every little cut that's available in the vector file. So I may use this one, but I think I'm going to do it all paper to keep it easier.
So I can post and pin a comment with a link to the files.
Yes, so like Kaylee will put a link up to the files where the files are going to be, and you can feel free to download those and go from there. All right, so right now this is going to look like a little bit of a mess, but I'm just going to start with all this background image. So I'm just spraying. This is all the map stuff. The map stuff, and you know, I'm going to purposely spray a little all over the place and not worry about it too much because I want it to be kind of off. I could even like spray through like this stuff. You know, spray through texture effects, like for the lettering and stuff, and just kind of just mess it up a little bit because I want this to look like an old map. So I'm purposely, just kind of messing with it. Oops, wrong one. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go to that shot. And right, Kaylee can drop the graphics off the screen if she has a sec. So this is the quick part. This is all masking. Just pull the masking off. And I'm doing everything in black. That's going to be black. There's a little dotted line here. It's going to be like the map for the treasure. I'm going to do that in red. But I'll probably put a little black over it first. And then we'll start working our way out of this mask. So this is kind of the boring part, but once it's all done, as you'll see,
Someone asked, can those be purchased for those that don't have a plotter? From you already cut out.
Well, I haven't done that yet, but I'm considering it. So if someone needs that, yeah, I'll be happy to cut them here and send them. I don't have a pricing for that, so you can private message me after that. We can see how that would work out. I haven't done that yet. I've been kind of avoiding it, but I know it's a necessity for some people who obviously don't have a plotter. Plotters are not cheap. The files on the download have, let's see, the file types that are on there are EPS, AI, SVG, DXF, PDF, pretty much anything for any type of machine or cutter. So if you have a Cricut, a Cameo, the files are there for that. If you have any other type of machine, you need a laser cutter, the files are all there for it. And if you have a type of machine or system that it doesn't have it, just private message me and I'll work with you on converting the file on my end and getting you one that works in case it doesn't. All right, I don't want people to have problems. Some of this project, the skull itself, you could hand cut and do all that like I'm doing without a problem. You could put transfer tape down and you could put the print down and cut around it and do it all by cutout. Totally easy to do. It's what I'm going to do a lot of on this one. This map, I wouldn't recommend hand cutting it, but there's guys that do it. There's some guys on the RC forum. I forget the guy's name on one of the RC forums. The stuff he cuts up by hand. I wouldn't want to pick it and weed it with a plotter, but it can be done. So you don't need a plotter, but it definitely makes your life a little easier.
What plotter do you use?
So I use a Roland GX24. Mine is an older model. I've had this machine. Got to weed something up. I've had this machine for about 14 years, and all I've ever done was change the blade. So I'm a huge fan of that machine. It's just a workhorse, but they are pricey. They're upwards. I think when I bought it, I think it was around $1,500, but I think the models like it now are around $1,800, $2,000, and they're worth every penny they last. But I realize that's a lot of money for a lot of people. So my suggestion on that would be just to do there's some ones from US Cutter. Gerber makes some awesome ones. There's a whole bunch of different ones, but if you're interested, Dave from Coast Airbrush, he sells Rolands. He has a really good price point on them, so that's something to consider. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to do the compass here, and I'm going to pull all the bottom ones. Thinking of my top-down light source, I'm going to pull what would be the lowest part of the compass, so everything down low, which would be actually this side as well, because it's tilted, so the sun comes down and casts a shadow on these sides. Just pulling these out. This is what I love about the gold mask. Yeah, it can be a pain to dial in to get the cut right off the bat, but once you get it, it's so easy to work with and pull off and save because it doesn't stretch. So if you got to pull stuff back, and I'm not, you can just go right in and save everything. So I'm gonna do some streaking here. So it looks a little worn out. You have to do this too and take the stencil and move it as you spray through it. It creates a really cool distressed look. This one. This one looks like it's inside. So just working my way out. And as I get out of it, I can mist in some other colors. So right now, I should have said this at the beginning. The color I'm working with right now is a mixture of illustration sepia and illustration black together. For my darker one, I did maybe like 30% black to the sepia, so it's pretty black, but it's not fully the 100%. And then my shading color is going to be mostly sepia with like 10% black. And then I have a candy, which I'll put this in the description after this feed. I have a candy here, which is my espresso shot, which is a little bit darker. It's a mix of grabber orange, dirt track brown candy, and black candy together.
What compressor do you use?
So for my studio up here, I'm using a Smart Jet Pro for my water, which is a small studio compressor. It's pretty quiet. I have it on the other side of the room, so it's not as bad. Plus, I just shut the air conditioner off in here, so that's not too fun for me, but it's too damn loud for the feed. So once I got the dark sides done, I looked at the flip side of everything. Now I'm pulling the opposite sides. And my goal is to do this whole painting in 2 hours. It could be very ambitious. We're not happy. As long as the feed holds. Is the feed holding up?
Seems like it.
I don't think anyone's having a problem.
No one's mentioned anything since the initial issues. So.
You're weeding it on the picture. I always weed them. So, like, I weeded most of it off. But, because I'm spraying the darker, that has to stay on, and then I'll weed as I go. So, yeah, you got to kind of mix up which way you go. I tend to weed the bigger area stuff off, before it's transferred. And then I will do the really detailed stuff like on the board, because the problem when you do it all, if you do it all on, like when it's a lot of picking for one. So yeah, you just gotta find what's comfortable. Sometimes I pick it all ahead of time. Sometimes I just shoot the whole thing and pick it off here. There's not really a right way or wrong way to do it. Yep.
Someone said is that the same brown that you used with the copper penny on the orange pirate skull?
Yes, same color. So the espresso shot is a color that I've mixed up a few times. It's one of my personal favorite colors that I made. And I do, on the other pirate skull video, I do have the breakdown there. So the breakdown is, I want to say it's 2 parts dirt track brown to 1 part candy black, 1 part orange, or it might be 2 parts candy black. So I will double check that and put it in the description later. This is the candy brown. I'm mixing over everything. I want to give it that dirty old matte feel. So see how I pulled everything slowly? Now I'm going to pull the inner just to check. See, I can check to make sure I get enough contrast. I want to put it back. You can do all sorts of distressing in here. This is a great place if you want to do some scratching. You can go in and do some scratch boarding. You kind of give it that old matte feel. These are one of those, this is by a company called Slice. It's a ceramic blade, so it doesn't dig as much. These are pretty cool. Yeah, because all of these old maps, a lot of times, they were like a wood press plate, so they'd have like braining and misshapes and things like that, and scratches and stuff. So, so you can do all sorts of little details. So it's going to be a really cool painting when it's done. It's going to be a fun project to do if anyone decides to attempt it. And if you decide to attempt it and download it, please share it with me privately, publicly. I'd be happy to give you some critiques and walkthroughs and help you along the way. I want to do some shadowing here. So it's like the compass is drop shadowing each piece a little bit. Using basic light sourcing. So see how that's starting to really get three-dimensional? And for you guys new to YouTube, and I am as well as far as this goes, Super Chat is now enabled, which is something you can help me out along the way. If you're into the feed and like what you see, you can leave tips and comments and things like that along the way. And for those you who don't know, these paintings are always up for bids. So we can start taking bids on this if anyone's interested. This one is not going to go, I don't think I'll let this one go super cheap just because.
With the amount of prep that went into it.
Yeah, I literally, like I said, I started this at 10 o'clock this morning from the sketch. So you're seeing a full original done from start to finish. It hasn't been pre-rehearsed or anything like that. It hasn't been done 3 or 4 times. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the little red ship line in here, like there be treasure or there be treasure. I went back and forth and it should be there or dar, dar. I settled on there. And the file download has there. If someone wants dar, you can obviously just add your own lettering, but I'll be happy to add that to the file if someone's interested. But most of the work in this background is the design and prep. I have hours in this as far as this is the real map of the Caribbean, and north is true north. And for those who question, what I did is I designed it with true north, and then I pitched it a little bit just to give it a little more interest. So it's I'm not going to say accurate map, but it's a map of the Caribbean that's been turned look like a pirate map on this stained background. When I get the background off, you'll see more of what I'm talking about. I'm going to pull inside all the items now. We'll darken those, and then we'll do the water afterwards. The water area. So I'm going to work my way out. This is when me and Rhino teach in our classes. This is what we call sequential masking. We plan the paintings out in such a way that, for the most part, you're never having to add mask back on. You start off by masking everything, and whatever you mask first comes off essentially last, and you work sequentially out of it. It's a great technique. It keeps your film thickness really low on your paintings, which is, if you do an automotive, like I do, a lot of clearing takes up a lot. So if you got big edges and overtakes, it just takes more to get it right. You get it flat. So hopefully by doing it this way, you work sequentially out of it. You don't have that problem. So just pulling all the islands. And, that's it. So what I'm going to do, see all the grit and texture in here? Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. So see all the texture in here. And this is what I did this morning. There's a video I did quickly, and I'll add it to YouTube after the fact on how I did this panel, which is basically just I mixed up like a cream colored tan, and I sprayed that tan color, and then I darkened it with brown, and I sprayed that brown onto a piece of saran wrap, and I glazed that saran wrap over everything. And got that different texture, let that dry a little bit. Then I just did some water staining.
I think I've seen people do that with spray paint.
Yep.
But it's more they do it on. I think they do it onto the canvas and then put the saran wrap
Yeah, so
on
there's
it.
2 ways you can do it. So I wanted to play with it. So usually what you would do with old marbleizers, you'd spray the whole surface with like a marbleizing fluid or wet paint, and then you'd stick the saran wrap down and kind of move it around and pull it. That gives you one effect. By spraying it on it, you get a little bit different effect, and that's kind of what I wanted for it. It's a little bit easier to play with that way. So, and then I took some glass cleaner, some foamy glass cleaner, and squirted it, and wiped as it like dried up. They like a few specks and spots. Let's see here. That's another texture. This would be cool. This kind of gives it that old map feel. This is one of Gerald Mendez's texture effects. And if you don't have these texture effects, you can make them up yourself. As far as if you have one you could take this one before and just move it as you spray, and you'll get a very similar look to it. So I just want these islands to have that kind of like cross-hatch kind of look. Oops, I dropped that. So I hope people on Facebook find their way over. If you guys could share this to some of their friends and people on Facebook, get them over here. Because I tried to run both feeds, it just wasn't happening.
We've got a lot of people, so I'm pretty sure the post worked.
Yeah, good.
People probably went to your page and then they noticed that there wasn't a live feed, and then saw the post about watching it on YouTube instead, so they clicked on it.
So the other thing is I'm going to go super low pressure and see if I can zoom in here. I'm going to go super low pressure and then just spray a little. Oops.
It looks like waves.
So spitting, and then you can like just really kind of have fun with this stage. It doesn't really matter. You just kind of make it look messy.
Is that this is just my own question. Is that the stencil you use for waves or something?
Yeah, I could use this for waves.
Because it looks a lot like waves.
But in this case, I used it for the islands themselves. And then I want the water to be less, less dark.
Mm-hmm.
So a day of afternoon of designing, a couple minutes of spraying, and now we should be able to pull all the masking, start working our way to the actual skull. We'll do some more background effects and stuff like that as we go, but that's pretty much the masking, and you'll kind of get a feel for what this is looking like as I unmask. And the way I did the file, so for anyone who downloads this, the reason I had all the islands go through, it's fully there, is in case you want to use it for a different project. It doesn't have to be the same one over and over again. I could have easily just made it so you can only do this one image, but you can incorporate this into a different painting for yourself and kind of work it into something from there. Do a different skull. You could do the skull from before on top of this one. Hand cut that one. Let's see, it's really starting to kind of get that old mappy feel. If you want to get really nuts, and I thought about doing it, and you could make like a longitude-latitude grid pattern, and then after this done, do another overlay and get like really complicated with it. But I knew I was only going to attempt this in 2 hours, so I did limit everything. Obviously we discussed before. 2-hour painting doesn't mean it takes 2 hours to start to finish. It takes 2 hours once all the prep is done. All the pre-planning and everything that went into it. This is sometimes when you come, you do it so fast. Well, yeah, I did the painting fast, but it's all the prep and planning and everything that went into the design ahead of time, so we can actually paint it on camera this fast, or there's a whole system in place to make that happen. And Kaylee will attest about up to 10 minutes before the feed, I wasn't sure I was going to make it. Getting down to the wire.
Yeah.
Crystal made dinner, and I literally went downstairs, wolfed it down in 5 minutes, and then came back up and started prepping to do this. Let's see what we got. Any good feeds? Oh, hey David, thanks for popping over. Yeah, I tried doing the Facebook live along with this, and it just was not stable. And over here, the quality is better in the stream. And like last week, I had them both running, and it was okay. And then the Facebook one died, and that's been happening to Dave a lot more over Coast. That's why I kind of started moving away from Facebook so much for the feed, because it dumps out too much. Well, I'd like to thank any new people that are coming over here just on the YouTube side. You know, Facebook, we've been doing the feeds for about, 6 months now, Kaylee?
Yeah, probably.
About 6 months. So if you caught yesterday's kind of rewatch of the Shining one, that was a painting I did back in March on the live feed. So I have a whole bunch of them, and I'm going to kind of re-edit them down a little bit, and then I'll bring those over to the YouTube side. And that way, for you guys who do want to follow along, it's easier, to find. You can just pop onto my YouTube channel and pull up these videos and just find it. See how easy this is pulling off? This is why I like the gold mask. Gold mask, once you dial it in, it cuts beautifully, and it goes on and off surfaces really easily. And the one thing it really sticks to well is rough surfaces. So canvases, stone stucco walls. I actually used it when I did my pool patio. That's how I was able to get the masking to stick, because vinyl masking won't stick to those surfaces well. This will. So for canvas and stuff is outstanding, and it cuts by hand super easy. If you guys would like to do everything by hand without a plotter or anything, this stuff is awesome for that. If you guys just popping over for the first time, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, sign up for notifications. When I do feeds, I'm going to start doing them more and more. And I'm sure I'll get asked that. The question is, this is an aluminum panel. So it's got a PVC core, aluminum both sides. It's called Durabond, some people call it. Oops, I forgot that one. Oops. I forgot that. Let's go back in and press it. Going by hand. Press that up. Easy peasy. No stress. Anything can be fixed. See how by alternating which ones I did where, the compass has a really nice three-dimensional effect. I want to go inside it. Get some scratching. I'll use the slice tool. You can use a regular X-Acto blade too, but these are a little bit gentler, a little bit easier to control. Pretty cool, huh? And that, Carl, thanks. Yes, you guys can go through and like stuff. That helps. So now I'm going to just kind of stay around the edge and give it a warm look. I wish Gerald was here today. I'm not sure if Gerald came in or not, but I'm not doing green, so if you will like that. I'm just going to fade those edges. You could even like pair towel and go through and give it like a tattered edge and all sorts. I mean, if you guys are into like faux finishing and really good at, man, you could throw all the tricks at this. Sponging techniques, everything like that. Oops. And don't worry about it. We'll just add to it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I go around the whole pirate skull. This is key. So you really want to make sure when you follow along this, at this stage, you want to really kiss around the whole skull and everything. So basically you get a drop shadow. And go heavier towards the bottom. Light source is coming down. Heavier towards the bottom. If you did the paper cut, here's a little trick. The paper cut lines up. See how it lines up with it? You could move it down a little bit and do a very soft drop shadow if you want. And just make it subtle. And when I clear this is going to be clear and matte clear. Definitely matte clear for this one. And that's so the color I've been working in different darks and lights, so I've mixed that dark color, which was the 30-40% black, with the illustration sepia, and then that's in this brush here. That's what I've been working on with the darkest color. This color is more of a mid. It is sepia by itself, like maybe 10% black, and you'll notice a difference. But neither one is pure black. And then the other color, the last color, is the candy, which is the espresso shot. It's a little bit lighter than my normal espresso shot the way I mixed this time. So, those are the three tones I'm doing this whole piece in. I'm just going to kiss over this whole thing with this brown. Really make it cool. Cool. And that's it there. Now, what I didn't do? I forgot to pick this section, which is a little section inside the cutlass blade. Pull that back out. Candy. That darker color.
People are saying you have a Thanos complex.
I have a what?
A Thanos complex.
How do I have a Thanos complex?
You wiped out an entire island with your finger, apparently? I'm confused.
When did I do that? I didn't do that.
I don't know. And then someone said emo nail polish.
Oh.
Oh. And then, David responded, so someone said he might get a Thanos complex, and David responded, I thought he already had a Thanos complex.
Yes, Chris, it is from some of the comics I read, but I'm also just a Marvel movie nut. Why I did the Loki one last week, and I'm doing this one this week. Pirates of the Caribbean is awesome. For one, Cool. All right, let's get on to the fun part, which is the skull. And if I didn't do enough here, usually what I do is I pull up one edge, just make sure I got enough delineation, which I do. Yeah, that's enough.
Oh yeah, Sean's getting the Loki, right?
What's that?
Sean is getting the Loki.
Yes, Sean. I got to get that cleared. I have not cleared that yet. I will clear that along with this. Well, this will get clear with gloss and then matte. I don't clear with matte overall. I like to put the gloss down. That can be put down really thick, and then I can sand that flat, and then put a couple coats of flat clear on top of that. So I'll get that going. Okay, so at this point, this is where the pirate skull is going to be. And this is where you kind of choose. So if it doesn't look cool map, I'm digging it. That's cool. And now, you can decide, am I going to do paper cut, which is this here, which, notice the paper cut fits perfectly in place. Or if you'd rather plot, if you're not too much of a paper cut, and you don't want to lose pieces, this plot file has all the detail. Let's see if I can show it. If you can look through, you can kind of see everything is cut, but I've transfer taped it, and that can stick down and work off it from there. If I was doing it twice, I'd probably do it this way, or I might go through it a little bit, but I think I'd rather just do paper cut. It's really the same process. So whether you're doing paper cut or plot, you can do it either way. So just going to put a couple things on. The goal of either the plotted mask or the paper file is not to have it do all the work for you. It's just to get your shading variants and get things kind of registered in where they go. So that way you can freehand and do erasing techniques and things like that as you go. The nice thing is when you're using plot, you can just pick and go. This, I got to keep taking it off, cutting it, taking it off, cutting it. So, there's a plus and a minus to each technique. But this is where we start. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Appreciate that. So, the key to using either stencil or masking, pre-cut, templates, whatever it is not to overuse it. I just put it in for light registration purposes only. I don't overwork it. You can go in and find curves that kind of fit like this, like the septum. And I can just put that in there now. These are going to be the holes in the teeth. Kim, let me get a sec. Give me that printout to the printer. I'll show you what comes with this download.
Top one?
Yeah, the big one.
Oh yeah, one of them got messed up, I think, but
There's the wrong one.
I think that one's right. This one's messed up, but
Okay, don't worry about it. So the print file has my sketch drawing, which came with this. And so it's a sketch with all other little details. And then I did all the cut file in red lines so you can see where to cut. Oops, Calvin, not aluminum. Oh, do magnets? No, magnets do not stick. So if I was using a thin aluminum panel and had a steel backer, I could get those earth magnets, and that would hold it for sure. But if you're on a steel panel, like if you cut a steel panel, you can totally do that. So I pre-cut some of these lines out. Again, this is kind of like a cooking show. Done things ahead of time just to make things a little easier. And if I'm really careful, I can actually cut this right on the surface. Just cut that away. I'm going to cut this. Cut back to the bottom of the skull. That's the socket for the vertebrae to go through. I'm going to register that now. We got up in here. And actually, this I'm going to have to quickly repair that cut file. This should be a cut file right here. But it's actually on the drawing. This is the back part of the hat. If I do it right now, I can register right where the cutlass hilt is going to be. Just kind of get it in place. I'm not trying to kill it. I'm not trying to get 100%. I'm just trying to get registration. So there's that. There's that. I want to pull this off and cut some stuff off to the side. Actually, you know what? I'll cut it right here in front of you so you can see. I'm going to slide this back. Pull this guy back off. Kind of see what's happening. So what I got now is I got all the rough registration. So now I'm going to go back and we'll cut some of the other pieces out here. So I'm going to cut the sword, cut this blade out. Back of the skull here. And what I'm looking for, whether I'm using the plot file or this, is I'm going to actually cut this right off. Is what's deeper? We're gonna work sequential. It's a word you hear a lot from me. Is by removing as you go. So whatever's the bottom gets cut and painted first. Then you work your way up through the chain, basically. Let's start with the little guys. We're going to pull this guy out. Yeah. Again, what you do, let's save these pieces. I'm going to slide you back in the frame. This is the line back up. I'm just really hitting these softly. And by working sequentially, what you've already sprayed gets built on the next layer, so that gets darker as this gets its first coat. That basically has its second or third, so it sequentially gets darker as you go. Easy, easy.
Someone asked if the kids have any artist bones in them, and do they want to learn airbrushing?
My daughter is very talented. Her style, she does more anime style, but she can draw damn near anything. But she does a lot of anime work, which is way beyond what I can do with anime. So, yes, she's very talented. She hasn't really messed with the airbrush yet.
Tried a few times.
When she wants to, she has everything when she wants to do it. Okay, see, so now that cutlass looks like it's going through. We're going to go back. And you're just kind of working your way around it. So I know this one here was below, so I want to shade that. My goal is to get all this stuff out of the way as fast as possible, as neatly as possible, so I can then do all the freehand fun and erasing and sculpting and everything that goes with the pieces themselves. I just cut as I go. We got a question here. Anything you want to do on Iwata? Oh, the one Dave? Yep.
Wait, what is that?
Yeah, there's the new Iwata micron. She may or may not have access to that already.
Where did you ask? Who asked that?
Chris Garcia.
Oh, it showed up after you read it.
Ah.
For some reason, the comments sometimes show up like after on the studio versus like the actual stream.
Because the delay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can no confirm nor deny the access to the Takumi Iwata. But I'm not using it here tonight, if anyone's wondering. But I can tell you, it's awesome. Is the feed staying pretty stable, guys? No issues? So, see now I got the skull out. And I actually should put this guy back here. Which I can do. Got that. It's all lined up. The hat's in the background. I'm going to work him. And I want to get up here with some more. Because I want the hat to be darker. This is where we can start adding some texture and stuff. Just not going too nuts yet. Just registration. You build your piece slow and work your way in. And I know it's a lot of stenciling, cutting, and things like that, but by doing it this way soft, you can build up to where you can freehand very easily, and where it counts, because you're just building that tone. It probably looks it's probably about 30% lighter here in person than it looks like on cam. By working this way, it gives you the freedom to control the outcome very easily. Not overworking too much. Just find all your little holes, and for those who follow along with the plotted file, you've stuck this down, and you're just going to pick and pull the same thing as you go. So now I just cut the lower jaw and the lower teeth out, because the angle we're looking up at, these are kind of overlapping and creating their own shadow. Now, notice right now, where I'm spraying. I'm putting the paint on the stencil itself and letting the overspray get to the surface. And that's creating the registration. Okay, see how that did that? Time trick, Haley, what time we got?
9:25.
9:35. Oh, so we're
25.
9:25. So we're only an hour in. Not too bad for an hour. And what did Eric Todd write?
Just say bugging.
Would be bugging, yeah. It's in the live feed. You pre-order the new one. We'll be the first to get before anyone. Yeah. Well, they had them on display out at the Rendezvous, so people can kind of get their hands on them for the first time. They are really, really nice. They did an amazing job with it. It's not groundbreaking, like crazy changes, but it's significant changes that will just make an already amazing brush that much better. That much betterer. I know a lot of people freaked out when the announcement came. You got nothing to worry about.
Are you staying zoomed in on the skull on purpose?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
just remember you zoomed in at first for the.
Yeah, I'm going to zoom back out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. But the project's coming along pretty cool. Alright, so I'm going to put this up. I want to just register in where the sockets are going to be here for the stitches to make them like holes. Okay, this was little 4 dots. And I'm going to put roof here. Line roof up. Right. There we go. Now, registering that all in. I'm actually going to thin this paint out a little bit. Put a few drops of 4011 in. Give it a good shake. And we'll switch cameras for a little bit. Give you guys a different angle. Some L4 new Micron. Yeah, they're not cheap, but man, they do last. They do last. But yeah, so I mean, realistically, this is the first half of the video. So the first half gets you to all your registration. And that's really the key, is getting that registration down. So now I'm going to do just cut where the lower teeth are. The teeth are definitely easier to do with the plotted file because you can like position each one, take it on, take it off in different order. Because like now I got to pull this one out and I got to paint the opposite direction, which really I want to have each teeth like in. What I could have done is cut the. I should have left one detail. Actually, I think I might have one cut that I did not transfer tape. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, so here's one that I did not transfer tape. This was this one. So what I could do, let's do it this way. I'm gonna try something here. Let's see if I can place a teeth where they would be, because there is enough registration where I can just pick and kind of place them. Just like that. I'm going to just butcher this one. Just for the teeth. Let's see what I'm talking about. So what I just did was I just grabbed these and I'm just going to take out what I don't really need right now and move it aside. I'm just going to put these teeth in position. Like I said, guys who have, don't have a plotter, you do it by hand, you can still do it. You just got to work in a different order and maybe spray a little light tan in there for each tooth, as opposed to doing this. So do a little easy transfer. So we're just going to transfer tape them basically. I'm just going to use some KUTT gold. You can use clear transfer tape, whatever. I'm going to pull the teeth off. Whoa. Yeah, clear transfer tape would have been easier. Get these in position here. Try to. Yeah, clear transfer tape would have definitely been the way to go. There in the right position. Right, so now the teeth are there. So now this makes things much easier. If you don't have a plotter, you could transfer around. You could transfer tape. I'm going to do the same thing now. I'm going to paint directly on the teeth. And then I'm going to pull each tooth off, working sequentially like we have been. A little hole between, because that's a socket. Let's zoom in on that mouth area. I'd like to thank everyone for sticking around and watching and coming to the feeds week after week. Definitely share this out with people. Okay, so what I did, I just shaded around all the teeth. Now that's going to give me the sockets. What you could do, if you want to highlight sockets, spray a little more. This is where you can bring in an eraser if you want. Go in and put little highlights ahead of time. You can go in later and do this too. This is one of the Medea erasers that came out this year. If you work light, you can erase your highlights. It's great for doing textures and stuff too. Well, it's funny, it's funny how the color changed with the camera.
Mm.
You know what it is? I think it's that blue got on there, it shifted everything.
Probably.
So I'm gonna pull that off. So
the camera angle it's on now, not the PFP, is much more accurate to the real color.
Yeah, so now I'm going to work from each tooth that's behind another, and we're going to use the next one up to shade on again. So see, I'm spraying it on the tooth, and then moving it. See, now that sets up the one behind it. Same thing here. Make sure this is all done. Got the socket for the tooth. Get in here. Now I'm going to work from this side. I'm going to work from the outer skin. Each tooth. The next one. I know this seems a little tedious, but realistically, look at it. This is an hour and a few minutes, and the majority of the painting is roughed in. Then you spend the next hour doing all the fun stuff. And I think all the rest of it. This is separated. Cool. Yeah, I don't know why that camera just went a totally different color tone.
It's weird.
It was fine before. And now it's
Really grayed out.
yeah, it went really gray for some reason. Oh, there we go.
It's because you were zoomed in.
So there we go. Now it's more like it. There we go. So see how those teeth work? Now all the basic teeth are there. And yeah, it's pretty much all the pieces of the skull are done. Now let's work on defining just the cutlass. And we can freehand our way out of it. Do you have any questions? Anyone? Any stories? What's happening out there? How's everyone recouping from the rendezvous? I know a few guys there were here. Is everyone still kind of jazzed up? I know when I get back from those events, I get really jazzed up to do new stuff and try new things and push myself more. Just being around, all these amazing artists, both professional and students that have different ways of doing stuff. Just makes me want to try new things and see how far we can push things. Especially being around like Gerald. You get around Gerald and it's just like, you watch how easily he works on stuff and it just makes you want to work. Oh, you know what I haven't seen tonight? You seen Mr. Leahy tonight?
No, I haven't.
Where's Mr. Leahy? I think he's getting ready for a trip or something soon. So he might be tied up. Alright, so cutlass is there. That's like the guard. I think that's called. I'm not up on the all proper terminology. Actually, that guy, all the pieces. Draw some all the details. I think just enough to register it. That you can come through with regular curves like this and define things. Yeah, I'll be doing some racing, things like that. But you do end up with lots of little paper everywhere. It's like a puzzle. It's a fun puzzle. Oh. But this, just like the other pirate one I did from a few months back, this is a very similar process. Just remember that one, the first hour and a half, pretty flat looking, just blocked out, it doesn't have a lot going on. But as you work through it, Get the foundation laid, and everything else falls into place really quick. This is the process I like to work with. You know, we could do it total freehand, just sketch it on the board, go to town, use rulers, do these by hand. It's a totally awesome way to work as well. I do a lot of work on custom bikes and cars, so a lot of it is, you've got to have some production value to it. You got to get it done at a reasonable time. So sometimes by hand is slower. Especially on motorcycles, a lot of cases, you're doing everything twice because you're doing it on each side of the bike. Which happens quite a bit. So we lost one of the pieces. Let's see. It's a finger saver. Alright, I assume on a timeout.
I can put any color in the feather.
I don't know. Maybe I'll put a little tone in the feather. That's a good suggestion.
That was crisp.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. What's the benefit? I printed out more. I just need these stripes. So I'll just cut out another one. The key, when you print this, if you print from the download file, print actual size, do not hit fit to paper. If you hit fit to paper, it's going to change the measurement of the skull. So if you're plotting it and doing paper cut like I am, the only way to get it to line up to itself, that's right there.
Green in the feather in case Gerald shows up.
No, I'm not going to do any green. No green.
What color was Captain Hook's feather? Wasn't it like purple or something?
I don't know.
I think Captain Hook's was purple or like. A lot of people do red. Yeah, you already get red mixed up.
Yeah, I already got red mixed up. When I do any, maybe I'll put a little red in there. Or maybe that could be bidder's choice. If someone bids on it at a reasonable amount. You just start adding personal preference colors in. Like back in the early days of Airbrush, and this was mainly what they were used for, is shading and like softening edges. They weren't, like free-handed devices. They were used to really fix photos. It wasn't until like recent years where the guns work so good that you can freehand get like super details. Back in the day, they weren't really like that.
Is that your second?
No, that was the remote for this camera. So cool, what do we got here? We got 40 people in here now. Thanks for staying in, guys. Kaylee's monitoring the feed. If there's any questions, she will relay them. Just a little paint over here.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, that's just one of the colors, but it's fine. Just a little paint still. Clean that up. Cool. All right, that's pretty much it for that. A little over midpoint. This would be a good break point. So I'm going to switch back to my candy right now. I want to start toning, start doing some little bit of shading, a little bit of browning of things, some core highlights, some core shadows. I'm just going to mist a little bit of this in, just to brown things out a little bit. And we'll do some erasing. Yeah, Carl, that's exactly. So that's what I mean by sequential masking and working in a sequential order with the paper cut and the way the stencils, the way I work in and out of it. That's the key. If you just work in that reverse, basically a reverse order until you get to where you want it. So now it's freehand time. I'm going to add a little bit more reducer to my mix. Give it a little stir up. Now it's going to be really thin. And this is where I'll probably drop the pressure down. So I have the pressure pretty high right now. Sorry, no one's asked yet. I have the pressure up to about 50. I tend to spray at higher pressures. Kind of left over from my t-shirt days. So now I'm going to start going in. I'm going to darken those darks and start freehanding stuff.
Oh, we got a bid from Sean at 200.
That's a solid bid. I will let people know when it meets a threshold I'm comfortable with letting this go. Like I said, I have about 12 hours into this piece so far. Not 12, I got about 10 hours into it. Shipping, yep. My Apple Watch is telling me to stand. You should stand. I'm working. Yes.
I mean, you can.
So realistically, what I'm trying to do now is work all my darks. Work from the darker side up, past the shadows. I need the sword. Under the sword where I really want to get some dark contrast. So I can put that on there, put that back, and really hit it. I can use the darker color, which is almost black, and really get that to pop. But I don't want to go to that black just yet on everything. You see how fast that goes? Once you commit to that color in this process, once you go to that dark, you can't work your way out of it as easy. So, the key is to work in those lighter shades into the dark and really pull everything forward. This is where the erasing is good. These, the first one I had is a little detail tip you can do. I'm gonna put the bigger ones in because let's say I want to define this edge. I can hit this edge and make it all jagged. What that does, it makes it look like it's been kind of beat up and then creates a natural highlight and just create that lift. Unless it's not, pirates have nasty teeth. Yes, pirates have nasty teeth. Cracks. And this is one that really starts to 3D. So you start shading. I should be working from a photo of my sketch that I did, but I forgot to print it. Maybe I can get that back in a sec. The sepia is a little too warm. I want to put 2 drops of illustration black in it and get it back down. I don't quite want that brown.
Just so you know, it is 9:54.
9:54. This might have to go into a second video, guys. I don't really want to push this over 2 hours, and I'm not going to rush it.
Well, you still have half an hour technically.
Yeah, so we'll see how we do the next half hour. We'll see if we can finish it off. Half an hour freehanding. A lot can happen in that time. And if by chance I don't finish this tonight, we'll carry everything over to the next feed. And I'll pre-announce that where it's going to be and when. It'll probably be tomorrow. If I was to do it, I don't want to let it go to next week. Yes, quality before quantity, Skip. You are right, sir. probably done enough. Label offset. Definitely an ambitious project for a 2-hour feed, I'd say. And I'm interested to see how many people want to give this one a shot. So the files are fully uploaded on the Mackay Fine Arts Store. There's a $25 download. That includes all the files for this. And I'm going to be adding to those files in the future. So if you downloaded them, you'll get an update, the new ones. I put it together quick. I want to make sure it was available before I started tonight. I noticed a few things I want to adjust, but not too much. Slowly working that piece in. Overall, you can get a good feel now how it's going to come together. Those guys who don't know what Super Chat is, those subscribe, that's available now. Yeah, well, that's different things you can pay along the way for different posts and different things, and that helps me get these going and keep them going. Someone just went on and grabbed one of the downloads. Notification, thank you. I don't know who that was. I'll check that out later. So you can go on and download that now. Once you buy it, you'll get an email saying your files are ready for download. You can go and click them and download them. If you have any issues with them, let me know. I will make sure that everything works properly. And for those guys who are here, who have been at the beginning, share this feed up to Facebook if you could. Maybe some people don't know what's happening right now. We got a good amount of people in here, so I'm stoked. I want to make sure everyone knows it's here. Because I could not broadcast on both tonight the way I was doing it last week. So we're all very happy with the way this one is turning out. For those who can play the game Sea of Thieves, you'll probably recognize from the style of this.
Is that supposed to be a ghost ship, actually? That one, the ship next to the X looks like a ghost ship.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. It's
Wait, just because it's coming out of the water, same way that the ghost ship.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that one is coming out of the water or sinking. So, people.
Yeah, we got a super chat from Scott Voss.
Thank you, Mr. Voss. I appreciate that.
$2.
Very much appreciated, sir. Those little bits add up from people.
Also, the current bid is at 200 still.
Current bid is at 200. And we'll say it's a much bigger piece than that, so I will let everyone know when it gets to a point where I'm comfortable letting it go. Usually we let them go for around that, but this one is quite more involved. So I'm going to be a little bit pickier with this one. And if it doesn't go, I like fire. I'll keep this one. Maybe I'll make prints of it. Feathers. This is where the scratching comes in really handy. I'll just use a razor blade for this one. The razor blades are more aggressive, so if you want something a little softer, that's where this thing comes in handy. These are the ones on slice. So you look at this close, it's basically a ceramic blade or composite blade. And so it doesn't score as much. It's better at scraping.
Where'd you buy the ceramic blade?
So this is by a company called Slice. They have a whole series of different blades and holders and things like that. I saw them online and thought they were cool. So these little guys. Yeah, they will cut. I mean, they won't cut through like that really easy. But if you push down on paper, it'll cut pretty well without a problem. Get a nice clean cut. But really good for scraping. Yeah, I remember I saw these on Instagram or something. I came across the feed, so definitely look them up. And they're pretty reasonably priced. Let's do a little racing. you don't have an electric eraser, old stick erasers work great. What this is here. A lot of times I do the electric, and I kind of, smooth it out with the stick eraser. Really cool. You get natural highlights, and that's basically erasing down to the base color. Do right along the edge of this. We got that nice soft highlight there without big mess. Or without having to spray like a whitish green color. If I sprayed like a white cream color right now, this wouldn't look great. It would get kind of hazy looking and just wouldn't. Start going no shading. You just brighten up the edge of that blade. You get in here, just with that one. Highlight the jaw. See, I'm just brightening things up as they go. Then I can cut back into the final darks.
Do you sell your pocket stones?
I do not sell them direct, so these are available anywhere that the that my water products are sold. I want an art tool, which I did drop those. There we go. The pocket graphic sets. Yeah, those are available. You can get them on Amazon, I believe, but best place would be like Coast Airbrush. If you're in Canada, Maple Art Supply, they have them. It's all 6 templates here. Actually, we'll use one. We'll put a bullet hole in the cap. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because I did a bullet hole in the last one. But if you want to, this would be perfect for that. But any place that sells Iwata stuff, you can get these. I don't sell them direct on my store. I don't really keep an inventory of them.
Different tips available for the ceramic blades. Which one are you using, if you know off the top of your head?
I'm just using the regular. Basically, it's the same type of tip as like a number with a number 11 X-Acto blade. Just kind of the standard tip, and it's the holder's more similar to a standard. If you look at a regular X-Acto, it's pretty similar in shape. Not for what I find myself using the most. And they have one with this flat tip. It's more of a box cutter type, but it works. It docks away, which is cool if you travel a lot because it's, it docks in pretty nice. Let's see, I can go in and just carve away this edge, highlight. Go as much or as little as you want. Little marks across the blade. So I'm going to shade this really big. Then I'll go in. So I got another paint spill. Oops. Yeah, I'm not being careful when I'm throwing stuff around. Getting tired tonight.
What's the bus out?
What's the
bid?
What's the bid?
200.
Oh, the bid's 200, and like I was saying, this is going to be like a normal auction. I'll let you know when the reserve is off. Just because the amount of hours that are in this one.
Oh, we got a $3 super chat.
Thank you for that. Oh, I love the bird thumbs up. That's awesome. I haven't seen that one before.
Nice, Sarah, thank you. Super chat. Yeah,
What's that?
I'm 99% sure it's super chat. Yeah.
Those super chats help, man. You know, $5 here, $3 here. For all the hours of work, it's going to make more and more feeds possible. The teeth are a great place. Here, watch this.
Oh, we got $5 too from Sean.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. And it's fun, man. It's all cool, the graphics and stuff. Dig it. So you can shave the teeth and just kiss over a little bit like this.
Do the ceramic blades fit on regular X-Acto handles?
Will they? I think they will. Yeah, they should. You know, give it a shot. I mean, I just grabbed the holder because it really was that expensive. They are shaped a little different. See, they don't have the same fit, but I think you might be able to get them in. But they're not going to sit as well. So you can force them in. I wouldn't. They are thinner. I mean, they are thicker than a blade. So could you? Yeah, I'd probably make them fit. But you know, I'd grab yourself the proper holder. They're going to fit a lot better. So watch now that the teeth, I can hit the highlight on each tooth and watch. So it just pops out a little bit, nice and soft and quick. Much better than trying to shoot white in there. What time we got, kid? This is getting pretty close to the done stage. It's just
10:14.
14, 15 minutes of this. I think this will be done enough, or if I have to go 5 or 10 minutes to make it happen.
Someone asked if this is what we're going to be doing at the art circus.
No, I don't think so. You know, the art circus will be usually the project is specifically for the art circus, and it won't be available for anyone else right away. So whereas this one's already going to be available for everyone on Facebook, I'll do something at the art circus that's, you know, along the same lines as far as like technique and, you know, difficulty level, and that teaches all these subjects, but it'll be a different image. You know, if you're coming down to an event, what's getting taught there should be something that is only taught there that time. It's not like a rehash of what's already done.
Does the super chat's going to your Airbrush account just for doing stuff like this?
Yeah, basically, this whole new attempt with YouTube is basically going to be furthering more videos, more content, more equipment, and things like that. For those who don't know, so this year during COVID, I invested in all this new equipment that allows me to do this on the fly and do all the multi-camera switching and all that fun stuff. So, yeah. So everything kind of goes back into the fund so I can do more. the goal will be very soon is to be offering small group online only classes where we can work one-on-one or with a handful of people in a class, all online, and we can follow along a few hours at a time, as opposed to going to live events. So keep an eye for that, and that's going to be happening eventually. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Trim on the hat. And I did do a time-lapse video of how I concepted this. That's already up. I have a video of how I masked everything ahead of time. I'm going to put that up as well. So there's probably going to be about 3.5, 4 hours of content on this one project. So stay tuned this week, and like I said, have the notifications, because what I'll do is I'll make those announcements, and maybe what I'll do is I have some videos I'm going to edit up, and I'll do some Premiere, kind of watch-alongs instead of live, and kind of explain it in text what's going on. And that's why I went over here on the YouTube side versus Facebook. I could just do so much more over here, and you guys can find it. This piece will look really cool, not like an old wood frame. Actually, this has some scratching. Yeah, I'll make this look like a thread.
Sean upped it to 200 in the Black Widow fountain pen.
I think the Black Widow we should discuss, like we talked about before, is the Black Widow for a Black Widow. Just going to scratch, make it kind of look like threads. Little bits, just little bits. Zoomed out too far.
Got another super chat for $9.99.
Thank you, Don. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Yeah, this is, really the first live feed I've done the super chat with, so I'm really interested to see how that all works in the end. Any little thing that keeps us going, it'll be good for everyone else and me. Not to be selfish, but I can't do it for free completely, especially bigger projects like this.
Are you using OBS for your camera changes? No, you're using ATEM software.
So no, this is direct from the cameras themselves. You can do with OBS. It's not as smooth as this. I have an actual dedicated switcher, which is a hardware system. I'm not using any apps. There's no OBS or app that's going through. This is direct to YouTube from this box. The computer is just there for the interface, so we can turn it on really, but it's not everything's encoding right from the Blackmagic, which allows me to keep the feed really stable and keep it in place, and not have to worry about like an app or program glitches or anything else tied to the system. This is direct. Yeah, it's called Blackmagic Atom Mini Switcher. That's one of the big pieces of equipment I invested in this year to make these feeds, look more professional and act more professional. By the way, JD, it's good to see you. Thanks for popping over here. Now you have to start this one. I got the joke, man. I really do appreciate it. All right, let's get down to some darks and see how that goes. So this is almost a black, and you'll notice how fast the contrast happens here. Which is why you don't use it right off the gate, because it'll get too dark too fast. Actually, I'm going to lighten this up a little bit because it is too dark.
It is 10:24.
10:24.
5 minutes.
5 minutes for the 2-hour mark. I think we did pretty good here for 2 hours.
What markings?
So the Takumi, let's see. So it doesn't say the CMSB anymore. So it does say on the top of it, it'll say Iwata CM. On the side of it, it'll say Takumi with a little logo on it. And then the opposite side says Nest Iwata. That's the engravings. And then then the changes they actually made to the brush itself. Which says they're not like amazing, but they are. They're subtle but significant, I think is a good way to put it. They just made 2 of my airbrushes collector's items. Drew will like them because they're, ultimately it's the same, and the improvements go right in line with what he does. And I do know for a fact all his add-ons, like the soft spring and his low ride trigger, they work directly in it without a problem. What I am stoked about too is the Eclipse version, because they made the square trigger for the Eclipse, which means that's the one with the pin, which means those square triggers will fit in all the other airbrushes, which I'm a big fan of the square trigger. Before, the square trigger was only on the models that didn't have the pin, but now with the new version, the airbrush with the pin will work. 5 minutes of darks, and it's just all coming together. HBSB, yeah, that's what I'm using right here. So this is the CMSB, and then the HB is the Eclipse version. So what they've done now is they made the Eclipse version with the Takumi, so shorter body on the Eclipse version. It's going to have the newer, not this one. It'll have the newer style cup and new triggers. I never had the Eclipse version of it. I always wanted one, I just never got one. So I'm going to grab the Eclipse version of the Takumi when it comes out. Or like Dave would say, Makumi, which was carburetors, but he got it in his head last night and couldn't get it out. Which was funny.
It's 10:29.
10:29, the last minute. I might have to give it 5 more minutes because I want to get this done. Yeah, so the side. I love the side cups. I wasn't a big fan. Like, it took me a little bit to get used to it at first, but man, now that I got used to it, I do like it. Like, so, this is not one, but I really like using it. Some little details, little outlines. I'll probably spend another like 20 minutes on this thing afterwards, but for all intents and purposes, this is done. Aside from some little shading and little pick details. Yeah, so a little bit of highlight, a little bit of shading, and that's all she wrote.
What's the CM needle size compared to the HPSB needle size?
So the SBs are going to be it's a 0.18 needle. As far as on the Eclipse, I'm not sure what they're doing with that one. I think Dave went over a lot of the specs last night. Wash some more color over this. Open this up. think I'm going to have to pull this down afterwards and do a, I think a, what's it called? A time lapse. So this will make a cool video
Yeah.
by itself. But for those following along,
The nameless subscriber just got here.
What's that?
Nameless subscriber just got here. They missed the whole thing.
Oh man, I'm sorry, dude. You can rewatch it. I'm gonna be finishing up soon, but it'll be back up for the replay. Got a few more minutes here. I'm just kind of wrapping things up.
This is painted on what?
So this is on a metal panel. It's aluminum on both sides with a PVC plastic core, so they're light and durable. So it's a hard panel. And so this, this whole painting started at 8 o'clock, 9 this morning in my head. I was thinking I want to do a pirate, and then everything you see here was done today. Was sketched and drawn and referenced and vectored and put up and turned into a downloadable file. You guys can go on and get this right off my store now on mackayfineart.com. Kelly can throw the link up again for that.
Oh, it's still pinned.
Oh, the link is pinned?
The files are pinned.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's what the pin is up there for the files. I can add the
Oh, yeah.
store if you want me to.
Yeah, put the store on there as well. So people can go and download this and give it a shot themselves and show me what you did and how it came out. But, yeah, nothing is stock clip art that was just downloaded off the net. I designed everything. Did it from scratch. Just for you guys. Yeah, so I mean, this is a full. Like I painted this in 2 hours from start to finish, but I prepped everything ahead of time. So realistically, this is probably about a 7 to 8 hour piece. I probably got about 12 hours into it today, almost. Mainly because I was doing it for the store and recording videos and things like that from it. But this piece by itself would probably be about an 8 hour piece. Yeah, it's a fun project, Skip. I'm looking forward to seeing how many people download it and try it and put their own spin on it.
About time.
What's
I
that?
think it's 10:35. I
Yep.
think.
Second, let's just finishing this up. That, kids.
Bid is still at 200.
The bidding will start at 200. That does not meet reserve for a painting with this many hours in it. Sorry to say.
It's a good starting point, but
Yeah, it's a great starting point for most of my feeds. It would go. This one is just a bit bigger than that. But people can message me afterwards if they like this piece. So we can
especially
see.
if they watch the replay.
Yep, you can watch the replay. I just want to do one thing, and I'm kind of halo around everything there. Take the eraser. This final highlight.
Is there a Mickey hidden in this one?
There is no hidden Mickey in this one. Yet. Yeah, Mike did the Tortuga piece. I actually have that file. I didn't want to use any of it. But, the Tortuga, it's a traditional, pirate type piece. And I wanted to design everything from scratch. Mike's was a cool piece. I like that kind of realism to the skull. This I wanted to make more my style. All the highlights. And that is the final piece, guys. Not bad for 2 hours and a few minutes. Mr. Voss, thank you for saying that. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining.